Welcome back to Cottage Designs by Erin, where today we're going to be talking about how to paper piece 12-inch log cabin blocks. My last video was on how to piece 6-inch blocks, so you can see the difference. Using the 12-inch block is much faster, and the benefit is you can use pre-cut 2.5-inch strips. So I thought I would demonstrate this today. So this is the 6-inch block. And here's a sample of that we made in the last video. This is the 12-inch block. All right, so you can see the massive difference in size. Okay, now let me open the package so you can see the block itself. The inside's directions on how many blocks you will need to make various sizes. To make a wall hanging 24.5 inches square, you need 4 blocks only. A lap quilt, you need 20 blocks. So you can see this would go much faster. A crib quilt, you would only need 9 blocks, laid out 3 by 3. Okay, now here's the magic. Look at this business. These are huge. It's like pushing a great big placemat through your machine, which is probably awesome placemats if you just added sides to it. Okay, so let me rip one of these off. I bought this on Amazon. 12.5 unfinished blocks, 42 sheets per pad. It is recommended for 2.5 strip pre-cuts and scraps. 2.5 inches. So I have this great big jelly roll by Fig Tree Quilts by Moda, and this is in the same color family as the little baby blocks that I made. So I thought maybe we could make a square using this and see how it looks, because I've never worked on anything this big. Even the block that they taught us in class was little, and it had 20 little bitty pieces in it, where this has great big huge pieces. So for my center block, I'm going to still stay in this warm range. This particular jelly roll it's called California Girl. I'm sure it's old, by Moda Fabrics. This was given to me. So I'm going to take this bright orange out, and I'm going to use that for my middle piece. Oh, I accidentally ripped off 2 pages. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off a big square to start in the center block. And then we'll get going on this. Let me make sure these look huge for 2.5. Let me double check this width on these. No, it is 2.5. I guess it just looks big because I'm not used to working with that size. It's funny how you get used to what you are used to. Okay, let me mark this on the back, because let me move the camera to my hands. You see what I'm doing. I just cut the hang tag off the end of this. This says Moda, the selvage. I'm going to cut a 2.5-inch square just to get started. I don't know where my little Frisker's block is at. We'll just do this. Okay, so if you remember, you're going to sew on the number side, but you're going to piece on the back side. So we put this over block number 1, because that's where we're going to start. And then we pin that down. These little flat pins are nice, so that way then when you sew, it's flush. All right, then our number 2 block is right here, and it's going to be a light color, preferably a white. But since we don't have a white in this stack, I'm going to have to use a lighter beige. Oh, so I think I'll do with this real pretty. This is darling. Look at this great big print. Cut off the selvage. And then it only has to be longer than this. So, no, we don't need very much. So I'm now going to lay my number 2 up against the seam allowance where it's going to be sewn. It has to be a 1/4 inch wide difference. It has to hang off a 1/4 inch wide on either end. Okay, let me stop that right there. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I had to get a drink. And these Sew Emma foundation piecing blocks can be purchased on Amazon. They are various prices depending on what size block you get. The bigger blocks, of course, cost more. Okay, so we laid our number 2 on the seam allowance with our number 1. And now we are going to sew between the 1 and the 2 on the back, right down the center. Which means I would probably need to, no, my pen's okay, I think. I don't need to move this over a touchy touch. For heaven's sakes. I've got it too far over. You've got to get it just a 1/4 inch over on the first placement. Otherwise your block won't be the right size. Okay, so now we're going to sew on the line between the 1 and the 2. You want to make sure that your pieces are flat underneath, because I have bubbled mine up and then you have to rip them out and it's not any fun. So here's our line between the 1 and the 2. We're going to put our presser foot down. I like to take a stab just to get it going in the right direction before I actually go full speed ahead. You want to shorten your stitch length to 1.5 straight stitch. Preferably use an open toe foot so you can see what you're doing. You do not have to back stitch. Okay, you're only going to go to the end of the line. All right, now we cut that. Next, we're going to use our little ironing board. And we're going to fold this back and press it. These fabrics are beautiful. Now, I like my steam on mine. I think they recommend you don't use steam on these papers, but I've been using steam and I haven't had any problems, so I just keep the train going. All right, next we're on our number 2 piece. Our number 3 piece. Our number 3 piece is up here, and it is also light colored. So we need to look through our jelly roll and pick out another light colored piece, which I like this beige. This is pretty. Look at that, how beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead, cut the selvage off. And we're going to lay that down on the number 3 across the top, which means that it's going to have to be a 1/4 inch across here to get caught in the seam allowance. Okay, now let me see here. I got that a little more than I need right there. Pull it back some. Okay, so now we're going to sew on the number 3 line right above the 1 and 2. Again, make sure your fabrics are laying down flat, or you'll make a boo-boo like I did and bunch them all up. Okay, we're going to fold it back and press it. Now we're supposed to use a darker pigmented color for the number 4 piece in the braids. So we haven't used blue. I think I'll go ahead and use a blue just to bring some variation in. I love Moda fabric. Oh, it just feels like heaven. Okay, so number four goes down this side. Again, we need it to be too long so that we catch all of our seams in. Okay, we'll go your sew on the number 4 line on the back. This is very much like color with number or paint with number. What's really nice about using the big blocks is if you use the jelly roll, you don't even have to think about colors really, because the jelly roll is already all made up for you in coordinating colors. Okay, so we're going to now fold this back. So now we're on strip 5. 5 is in the dark, so we're going to need a vibrant color. So I'm going to go with green. Again, we need overhang. Five is a pretty long strip. Excuse me. If you notice, this block is going together super fast because there's really very little cutting of the fabric because you're already using the 2.5 inch strips. Okay, now, if you notice, we have this overhang here, which is quite a bit. So if we fold back strip 5, we've got all this excess on here, but we had to have 1/4 inch. So I don't like to cut anything down until I've made several passes, and then I'll know. This is a 1/4 inch ruler from the 90s. And it was used to add 1/4 inch seam allowances to templates. So I just used this, but you can also use your add 1/4 ruler, which is also in my online Amazon store, along with these paper foundation pieces. My pencil's too far away. Let me try to get this. So I'm going to draw a little line here, telling myself that I need to cut that off so that it doesn't get too thick. And if you notice, you do have to have such overhang that you don't have very much fabric loss because you're using it. Okay. We are now going to fold this back and press it. That was block 5. Block 6 is back in the light colored fabrics, and it's going to go down this side. So I need a lighter something. We've already used beige. We've already used one floral. I'm going to use the smaller floral print because I think that's pretty. It coordinates with this one, but it's much smaller. Gives it that kind of shabby chic appeal. So I'm going to lay it right across here. And it is going to have to be longer because it's going to go into our next bar. I'm just going to let it run all the way off the page here and cut it. Because we have to make sure that we get in all the next bars because we're getting close to, I'm just going to cut it the whole width, I think, of the paper. We have to be able to catch it in all these seam allowances coming up. Because there's not as many passes through on this. Okay, so we're lining it up with the last piece that we sewed on. Okay, and we are doing number 6. Now when I fold these back, I do include the 1/4 inch seam allowance, so that way then when it goes on to the next strip, it'll already be folded under. You don't have to do that, totally up to you. Okay, we are now on strip 7. Strip 7 is still in the light family. So I'm going to use for strip 7, I think I'll use this pretty little stripe. Let me see if that's too much color. I think that's too strong of a color. Maybe we better go with something a little more bland. How about just plain old beigey beige? We'll use the stripe on the colored side of the block so it doesn't get too confusing. Okay, so we're going to go above and beyond this strip and above and beyond the last strip. Number 7 coming through. Here's our number 7 in the white. Wait a minute, let me double check that. Let me double check it, I feel like I have it over too far. I like that better. My goodness, I threw my thread came out. Let me fix that. I don't even know how that happened really, but we'll roll with it. Let me go ahead and do it again. We got part of the way across. Threw me like a horse right there. Okay, 7. We gotta go all the way down this one huge strip. Okay, fold this back. I guess it's good to have a solid in there because it gives your eye a place to rest after all those prints. You can see this fabric underneath that one, so that tells me I need to cut that off. It's already sewn in the seam allowance, so we don't need it. We don't need it peeking through. All right. So there's 7. Now, number 8. 8 is back in the vibrant color. So this might be a good place to put the stripe, where I could put it going across or whatever. So let's see here about number 8. I like the stripe, I think, going across. I think I'll use this big, bold floral. This is beautiful. What's really nice, too, about using the bigger blocks is you can use these great, big, bold prints. Selvage. Again, this is called Moda California Girl. I have no idea if it's still in existence. I did not look. Number 8. Number 8 is going to go from here to here on our existing seam allowance. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut it the whole length of the fabric so that I know I have enough. I mean the whole length of the paper, not fabric. Something happened in Fabricland. Okay, my fabric moved on me, so I'm going to have to go back and fix that. Okay, I'm back. I fixed that strip. Okay, now we are on number 9, which goes around the bottom. Since I did green here, I'm going to go ahead and, I guess, stick with the green. I'm cutting the fabric, the whole strip of the paper, and if you're wondering why I'm doing that, is because now we're getting down to the biggest strips, and I want to make sure everything gets caught. So that's why I'm doing it that way. Okay, where'd my little pins go? Number 9. cut that off. Okay, I'm going to cut this big piece. Gosh, I pinned my fabric to the ironing board. I'm going to cut this big piece off. And I don't throw anything away because I might use that later for a middle section. I'm going to go over that line again just to make sure I got everything like I should. That was number 9. Okay. Oh my goodness, I did it again. I got caught on the other end now. For heaven's sakes. I did not feel it at all under there. Okay, now then, long string, take that off. I'm going to fold that over and give it a good press. We are on block 10, which is right here in the white, light colored side again. So I'm going to go this way, and I think I'll use, we have to stay in the cream family. I already did big, little, I think I'll just use that plain old cream again. I don't know if I like that with that though. That looks kind of too, that looks too weird. Let me see. I think I'll put this beige back on there. Okay. Block 10. I'm heading it up to make sure we have, let's go up a little more. Make sure we have enough cotton in the seam allowance. Okay, we're sewing on the number 10 line now. I better get me some more thread out of there. I'm hitting a pin or something here. What is that? Oop. No, I wasn't hitting a pin. I don't know what happened. I thought it was a pin problem. If your paper rips, don't be concerned because you're supposed to rip it off before you sew these into quilt anyway. I mean, you don't want it demolished, you know, if you want to keep it together. If you leave your paper pieces in, please comment below in the comment section because I'd like to know that. Because you know, in the 1930s, they didn't rip the paper out. They left the paper in there. And then it just disintegrated over time. But I think it's an interesting concept. So somebody tell me if they leave their paper in. Tell you what, this is a lot of fabric to work with. It feels like a placemat, honestly. It's so big. You want to pull, gently pull on your seam allowance because you want to try to hit that trim line that you're going to cut off. I'll show you that once we get all of our strips on. Okay. Here's what we have so far. Now we are on number 9. 9 is black in the color section. So, let me press this a bit better. Number 9. Oh no, that's what we did. We did 9. Okay, 10 is where we're at. 10's there. Okay, 11 is a creamy color across the top. Creamy color across the top. Okay, I think I'll do this big bold print. I like these great big prints. They're so beautiful. Okay, I could cut my selvage off again. Lay it down where we're going to sew, right across here. We're going to pin that bad boy in place. I love these little flat flower quilting pins. They're awesome for paper piecing. I feel like I need to buy some more, actually. Put my big scissors out. They're there. Now we're going to sew cross number 11. Okay. Take our pins out. Fold it back. And you want to try to, like I said, gently pull on the seam allowance to see if you can get it in the cutting line of where you're going to trim when it's done. Okay, number 12. 12 is in the dark long side here. And now I think I'm going to use that crazy stripe, maybe. That is pretty awesome looking. Do I like that with the stripe? Or do I like this coordinating tile print, which is kind of cool? I think I'll use the coordinating tile print. This fabric is so beautiful. It looks like a sunny summer day, honestly. Okay, so we're going to put that down there. We want to make sure it's with our seam right up here. Make sure we have our overhang. Now we're going to sew on number 12. And we just have one more strip and then we can trim after this. Gently pull that. Okay, next we have to do number 13. The old dreaded 13. And we're in the green family, so I'm going to stick with the green. I think I'll do, we could have done a blue, but I think I'll do the green stripe. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Again, cut off the holy selvage. I probably could have done better with color placement, but you know what? It doesn't really matter because all the scraps are what's going to make this so beautiful. Or the scrappy look. They're not scraps. They're all coordinated to go together, but it gives it, you know what I'm saying? It gives it that shabby chic, scrappy look. Okay, now I know this is overhang and then I don't need all that. And I don't want it to flip back on me, so I'm going to cut that off. And I know this is overhang and I don't need all that. So I'm going to cut that off. And now, sew the last strip on. With my paper over here. I'm going to pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it. Okay, now, our block, it says on the back of this to not cut on the first line. You're going to trim it away on the second line, and you're going to need some nice paper scissors to do that because you don't want to ruin your sewing shears. Trim on this line. Now trim on this line. Okay. trim on this line. If you're off a touch, you might be able to jimmy your strips a little bit. If you're off a lot, just sew another strip on and then cut it to length. Cut it to width and length, because there's no sense, you know, like starting all over. Just do what you can with it. Okay, and I see here on this side that we've got, oh, it says do not trim on, do not trim, okay, here. Let's trim off our overhang here. Make sure I have some nice square edges over here. I do not. Let me clean this up. Okay, so we've trimmed it all down, and here is our 12.5-inch block. Let me bring this up. Okay, so here's our 12.5-inch block that we just made. Let me give it a good press because it looks like it needs it. Looks like I might still have a little overhang left on the side that maybe I could touch up a bit. And then let me show you those other blocks at. Okay, so this is the difference between the 6-inch block and the 12-inch block. So as you can see, it goes a lot faster if you buy the 12.5, this is 12.5 unfinished, or 12-inch blocks. If you buy the 12-inch blocks and buy the pre-cut jelly roll strips that are 2.5 inches wide, it goes fairly fast. Again, here's the paper. Let me tuck this in a little bit. Log Cabin Quilt Block Foundation Paper Piecing Paper by Sew Emma makes 12-inch blocks. I hope you like my video. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment below and let me know if you rip your foundation papers out or if you sew them in the quilt. I'm interested in knowing that. Also, you can buy what I used here in my online Amazon shop. I will have the link in the description box. And my last announcement is my daughter Taylor has started an organizing channel on YouTube, and the name of her channel is Becoming Mrs. Jones. If you would like to go check that out. Her name is Taylor Jones. Thank you.